You're listening to Season 1 of By Shawneda, Natural Sisters novella, My Crowning Glory, Chapter 11. Most women fall over themselves for roses, lilies, or flowers of any kind. Not me. Once those beauties come out of the ground, their days are numbered, and I hate the thought of them dying. Silly to some, but it is how I feel. Wilson shared my sentiment, and we started this tradition of exchanging Dollar Tree teddy bears and toys. One Valentine's Day, he bought me the cutest pink and red piggy. Hopes were high when he sent me a picture of a new Dollar Tree animal with an invitation to dinner. More than how I loved how much he respected me, I appreciated that this man could cook. Not warm up, not follow some recipes, but he could cook almost as well as my mother and me. Candlelight dinner meant something amazing and southern. The smell of caramel and sugar accosted my nostrils as Wilson opened the door. His dessert was the only thing that tasted better than his dishes. Braised lamb chops, oven-roasted red potatoes, and the crispest green beans this side of the Mason-Dixie line are the second reason I fell in love with this man. He'd outdo himself each time he cooked for me. Once the new relationship shine wore off, he cooked for me less and less often. Now he only cooked when he wanted to get back in my good graces. The time since I told him my decision to go natural felt like one big argument. I had no idea what he prepared tonight, outside my favorite dessert, his caramel love delight. Wilson allowed his eyes to take me in from the tip of my feet to the top of my head. He hesitated for a moment, then planted the sweetest kiss on my lips. Not too quick or too slow, it was just right. A bottle of my favorite wine materialized from behind his back. I can't with you, this is too much. He placed the wine in the chiller on the table. 2 serving platter covers sat on opposite sides of the chiller. Appetizers are in the living room. Your favorite. My Cajun calamari. Wait, you said what now? This joker was trying to make up and make me drop my drawers with one meal. No, he didn't make my favorite appetizer and dessert. The only way this night would be better would be if he made my favorite dinner too. All right, what is the occasion? I didn't forget our anniversary, did I? He pulled me into his lap in the oversized armchair. I love you, no matter what. That is all the occasion needed. Wilson planted another sweet kiss on my cheek. Did he smell like cinnamon and vanilla? Good grief. This man was trying to dismantle every defense and diffuse all the frustration built up between us over 3 months and one night. And it was working. Aw, you love me too. Because I couldn't decipher what all that moaning you're doing. What will the neighbors think? He smiled. Don't know and don't care. Yes, Wilson, I do love you. The calamari melted in my mouth like ice on a hot making day. Every spice and flavor lingered on my tongue. His recipes tasted customized to my palate. Let me help you with that. Wilson placed me between his legs and fed me the rest of the calamari. He ate one and I ate one. I enjoyed the most intimate and sweet thing we'd shared in months. The feel of his chest on my back and his arms around my waist made me question why I waited so long to share everything with him. Outside misunderstanding about my hair, we'd been so in harmony. My friends thought I was crazy not to give him some. Don't you know that eating calamari is supposed to be an aphrodisiac? Or was that your plan all along, Mr. Green? Oysters are supposed to get you in the mood. I don't need either when I'm with you. Your presence sends me into overdrive. Don't tell me you didn't notice when you sat down. I gulped. A timer chimed from the kitchen. Come on. Disappointment, where relief used to show up, startled me as he helped me up and led me to a seat at the table. He disappeared into the kitchen, then returned with a basket of French bread. Fresh French bread. You made French baguettes? Are you serious? My two-strand twist danced as I shook my head. You know I'd love to cook for you like this every day. Wilson interlaced his fingers with mine. You know I'd love to let you cook for me like this. My stomach felt warm when he kissed the tips of my fingers. What's stopping you? He smiled and poured wine into his, then my glass. His eyes paused on my hair. The smile faltered, then filled out again. A small box on his side of the chiller caught my eye, and the breath caught in my chest. In all honesty, there is only one thing keeping me from asking you to be my wife, Anisa. Dread filled my stomach. My inexperience was a plus to him. He joked about how special it would be to know I'd never been with anyone but him on our wedding night. The thought he questioned his desire to marry me because of my hair made me want to punch him. What is that, Wilson? I'm not sure we want the same things anymore. You made some interesting points last time we talked. Most guys are not okay with having a woman as ambitious as you. I find your hustle and grind sexy. I was caught off guard by what you said about me being your Stedman. He is successful, but I had to do some research. If he were with anyone other than Oprah, his success wouldn't be dwarfed. He kissed my hand and placed it next to my plate. How does that translate to us not wanting the same things? I said he was successful. My stomach churned. You're so driven to be influential in what you do. Will you have time to have kids? Stedman already had a family before he met Oprah. We'd have to start our family together. Will you make time for that in your schedule? Who's going to stay home with our kids, drive them to their activities? My mother was a big part of my upbringing. Are you going to be around to watch our kids grow up? He cleared his throat. Of course I'll be around. I wasn't saying that I'd be gone and leave you home to tend the hearth. My statement was about work ethic. You're twisting my words, and I think the real issue is you don't like that I asserted myself about something you thought would never change. My twist danced again as my neck rolled. Yes, my neck rolled, as if I didn't grow up anywhere near the suburbs of Macon. Yes, let's talk about this new look of yours. Most of them have been cute or quirky enough for you to pull them off, but this style tonight, not the best look. Wilson's eyes traveled all over my face. You're beautiful, Anissa Lynx. Wearing your hair like that is worse than putting a cheap pleather bra on the front of a Bentley. This is what my hair looks like until I take them down. You couldn't keep your hands out of my hair the last time I wore my twist out. I thought I'd have to get it done over. Good thing we're not having sex, or you would have totally ruined it. From what you tell me, you like to do. Or is that only with girls who relax their hair? My arms pasted themselves together over my chest. You'd risk losing everything we have over a hairstyle? Do you know how many women would kill for a man like me? Some people can appreciate someone stable and supportive. Wilson's pinky touched the ring box. We don't have anything to lose if changing my hair is enough to make you question your love for me. What happens when we have children and my body changes or I get sick? Does that pose a threat to our perfect love too? Despite my attempt to control my neck, it rolled again. Changing your hair because you don't like relaxers isn't the same as having a child or getting sick. You don't like relaxers. Why can't you let Peaches straighten it every week? Problem solved. Wilson leaned forward. We can work through this, Anissa. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. In that moment, I realized how wrong something that felt so right could be. You can't understand how I feel when you say that, which is the real problem, Wilson. When I'm swimming 2 to 3 times a week, then what? Buy Peaches a Jaguar? No, sir. You can learn how to straighten your hair yourself. Isn't your hair strong enough to handle more heat when you don't have a relaxer? I've been researching this for you so we can compromise and move forward. I'm not getting any younger, Anissa. His eyes lowered. We need to eat this lobster tail before it gets rubbery. Lobster tail. This man wanted to propose and make crazy, sweet, passionate love to me tonight. My daddy said tail led to tail. He lifted the cover from each of our plates. Everything was such perfect imperfection. I wanted to cry, take a picture, scream, and cover his face with kisses all at the same time. It's exquisite, Wilson. Everything tonight has been perfect. A sigh escaped from my lips. Not as exquisite as you are every day. I love you so much, Anissa. Tell me we can work through this. Don't you think it's worth considering my side? Wilson pulled the box from behind the chiller. A perfect 2-carat princess cut diamond in an antique pave setting sparkled in the candlelight. Deceitful, manipulative, controlling, loving, supportive, patient Jack Hole. Wilson's request that I compromise about my hair and accept his marriage proposal jolted so many emotions my head and stomach hurt. Don't answer now. Let's enjoy the night, and you tell me once you've had some time to think about everything. I'll be here. He placed the ring between our plates. Dirty, dirty, dirty. No girl in her right mind could think straight sitting in front of jewelry, lobster, and candlelight. As soon as my stomach settled, I planned to eat my lobster, caramel love the night, and carry my confused behind home. I needed to be in my right mind when I responded to him. $13 total. The number of women with natural hair I counted in my parents' church today. After all their sanctimonious drivel about not jeopardizing my future, they have people all up and through their congregation sporting curly froze and a few sister locks. My feet beat a path to their car so hard after church, my father called my entire first, middle, and last name out in the parking lot. Embarrassed much? Nope. 10 degrees above hot fire? Yep. Riveting message about the new youth minister, Anisa. Did you hear him break down that passage? He is very health conscious too. My father looked at me through the rearview mirror. So you guys have a lot of women with natural hair at your church? I swear my throat cleared on its own. Don't take that tone with us, young lady. You never asked about the women at church. I don't know where they get their hair done. Mom sat straight up in the passenger seat. This is craziness. Wilson asked me to rethink my decision of what to do with my hair for the rest of my life to marry him. You and Dad have been lying to me about knowing successful people with natural hair. I sighed louder than I would have a few months ago when they supported me instead of my FHF fellowship. That sigh came as close to defiant protest I'd imagined possible as a teen who wanted to see my 20s. You're a new employee trying to build a career. Most of those women run their companies that aren't retired. This is different. And they don't wear all those styles you talked about. They have short crop froze. Wilson and no other black man want to be with a woman with no hair. My mother said, not a normal God-fearing one. My dad snorted. My godmother used to tell me I'd reach a point my parents' opinion stopped being the fulcrum my life decisions would hinge upon. At the time, I decided she was trying a line for one of her news broadcasts. After the conversation in the car riding home from church, I realized she was right. 2 years ago, I'd return to Peaches or a more professional stylist and get my relaxer slapped back onto the months of new growth. I'd force myself to ignore my gut feeling that being natural made the best sense for me, even if it didn't work for anyone else. The notion I'd never meet a nice, God-fearing young man because I decided to be natural seemed more illogical than Wilson's ultimatum that I wear my hair straightened for the rest of my life if we were going to be together. Memories of the appetizer, dinner, dessert, and ring kept me from calling him with a firm hell no. Any and every man that respected a woman's decision to wait, cooked like a 5-star master chef, and wanted to support her dreams warranted proper consideration. Tanya's presence calmed me every time I sat in her chair. She never wore the same style twice, and I swear she owned a fly hair and clothes machine she stepped into that zapped her into the cutest outfits with a perfect coif to match. All I wanted to know was how much it would cost once she perfected the patent and where I would buy it. Your hair is so long, but it looked longer in one of the photos I saw on your Facebook page. How long have you been natural? My head tugged a bit with each time she passed through with her wide-toothed comb. The only thing I feared about being natural once I big chopped was the detangling process. Many YouTube videos and bloggers talked about how much it hurt, and everyone seemed to do it different. Confuse me much? Yeah. Been about 10 years, and it happened quite by accident. I'd decided to dye my hair Mary J. Blige red with platinum blonde streaks, in this asymmetrical pixie girl cut that framed my face just right. Well, I'd have been spotlighted as a color and cut girl in school and thought I could do my own. Tanya applied deep conditioning mask to my thick, crinkly roots. And it fell out? My hands gripped the side of her silver chair. No, not all at once. It began to break, and in a few months I had no choice but to cut it off to my virgin hair. Mortified, I bought 3 fierce wigs to rock until it grew out long enough to start a fresh relaxer. My mother had used all her vacation time and FMLA at her job and needed someone to stay with my grandma for a few months who was sick in Florida. A few weeks became 4 months. When I realized how freeing it was to wash my hair and go, I went with it. Once I came back to Georgia, I heard about Talia Wajid's show and was hooked. I've been natural and doing natural hair since then. At first, I did relaxed and natural hair. Last year, I went natural exclusively. I referred all my relaxed clients to Brielle. Tanya affixed a plastic cap to my head. She placed me under the dryer. Rinsed and settled into Tanya's chair, different parts of my conversations with Wilson and my parents played in my head. You catch any flack from your family or friends for going natural? Only a few cousins, guy cousins, who believed Beyonce and Gabrielle Union wore their real hair. My parents tried to trip for a minute, but once they realized I didn't care what they thought, they left it alone. You know how black men are about long hair. They want Moesha with Molly hair. Tanya laughed. My Grammy said it was because the Bible said a woman's hair is her glory. I don't get into all that Bible thumping, but it seems it would matter more that healthy hair would be just as glorious as wearing a relaxer or weave. It says that somewhere in the Bible? I know there was a verse about that in India Irie's song, but I didn't know it was a Bible verse. Shouldn't be surprised. She is kind of deep. Yeah, it's crazy because I thought Macy Gray and Erykah Badu were the only famous people with natural hair that wasn't curly. Once I started experimenting with different styles and moved past just washing it and going, I realized how much I liked it. Now, did the brothers have a problem with it? Tanya chuckled again and she scooped some product from a jar on her station. At first, I attracted nothing but conscious brothers, which is cool, except I'd always been attracted to the track and field corporate-looking brothers. You'd love Wilson's friend Xavier. He's probably the prototype for track and field corporate brothers. He is part of a running club, used to run track, and manages accounts for a software company or something on the south side of Atlanta. The bulk of those guys were still checking for girls with Remy infusion weaves or natural straight hair. For a while, I questioned getting a relaxer to the point I sat in the chair and based my scalp, but I couldn't do it. I'm not against relaxers. They work for many people. I just realized they didn't work for me. Some natural-only stylists own some extra other stuff, but that's not me. I don't overcharge for services, and I'm not going to preach about the evils of the lye-based relaxer, because at the end of the day, black women have just as many issues with the long hair lust as black men. Life is too short to try to change people's minds or investigate why they wear their hair how they wear it. That's true. My friends are just always cracking on my hair. You think being this close to Atlanta, they'd be used to it. My shoulders shook as I laughed. More natural than Macon than you think. The racial atmosphere down here isn't the same as the ATL. Most of my clients aren't from here. They're from all over. Some of them get mad love, but some of them are on the straight and narrow, to the point. I've taught them how to retouch after they work out because they love being natural, but don't want to be curly. Some of them just don't want relaxers, but don't like wearing froze. Our hair is more like an accessory than people think. Tanya finished a section of hair, parted another row of hair, scooped more product, and started another section. So none of your clients have boyfriends giving them ultimatums or parents offering to pay for hair appointments for a year? Not right now. I did have one girl whose baby daddy broke up with her during the weird length phase, but all it took was seeing her out with this fine brother with locks she met here, and he changed his tune real quick. Hair isn't a big deal for some people, but for others, it is part of identity. I've had quite a few clients transition, chop, and switch to Brielle. One girl broke down in the chair and paid me to go wig shopping with her because she just couldn't deal. It's a trip. Tanya shifted her weight. Sounds like it. Wheels turned in my head as I realized how crazy it sounded. Tanya gave a gentle nudge to reposition my hair. Tilt your head to the left. To me, the most important thing about taking a trip isn't where you end up. Road trips are my favorite because I want to enjoy how I get there. I hope you enjoyed My Crown and Glory, Chapter 11, written in red by Shawneda. Remember, I'm an author working on my voiceover, so be easy on me. Make sure to hit that subscribe button to hear Chapter 12 when it comes out. Thanks so much for listening. See you next time.